Hello everyone. I can't explain why, but I have been excited for days about making this legs up the wall video. So join me in a sitting position as we get started. And wherever you're at, just start to slow down your breathing, and you're welcome to close your eyes as you sit comfortably, whether that's legs crossed or legs extended like so. Every breath slower than the previous. And I want you to tune your attention toward all of the different postures you're in throughout the day on a regular basis. From the moment you get out of bed in the morning and what you do on a typical day lately, even if that involves laying down, taking naps, and your movement throughout the day until you come to bed at night. Think about all that those different postures have in common as you move throughout the day. And that is, at least from the top of your head to your hips, for the most part, unless you're laying down to take that nap or rest, we are upright. Our head is the tallest thing in our body. So think about that. Getting out of bed and walking to the bathroom, the kitchen, whatever. Maybe we sit down to eat. Maybe we're standing, getting ready for the day. Maybe we get into our cars. Once again, we're sitting with our body upright. And then we go someplace where we walk to wherever we're going. Or even if that means to a place of more sitting, once again, upright. Maybe at night we have dinner sitting at the table. Maybe we sit in a chair at the end of our day with some TV or a book or newspaper or the computer until we lay down to go to sleep. If your eyes are still closed, you can go ahead and slowly open them. So with that, and gravity always playing a role in our lives, our blood is constantly fighting against gravity to get to our brain, or even any of our organs in the upper part of our core. So this legs up the wall, all of these different poses that we're going to do are a great way to help reverse that, to help get blood flowing from, which will be our feet, and then all the way down into our core and brain so that our body can reabsorb it a little bit more healthfully. That will help you to think more clearly, stay awake and alert longer, reduce headaches, migraines, things like that. You'll also notice what great relief the lower part of your core, especially your backside, will get. So I'll show you some variations and also just how to modify your position to the wall if it's too intense to come close to the wall, as I will show you initially. So with that, let's go ahead and sit sideways to the wall with your hip literally touching the wall. Then simultaneously, we are going to come to our back side while our legs flip up the wall. Now you may have scooched away from the wall a few inches as I have, and you can go ahead and just scoot yourself a little bit closer till your glute muscles are touching the wall. And then just come to this position here, legs extended, getting that nice gentle stretch in the hamstrings. Or the modification for this, if it's too intense, is just to back up away from the wall. In addition, you can also bend your knees. So either way, as long as our feet are above our heart, we are now starting to reverse our norm, and with gravity, blood will now come from our lower extremities and get reabsorbed better, again, into our core and our brain. So find that comfortable position with legs straight or bent, all the way next to the wall or a little bit further away. I'm going to go ahead and come back to the wall a little bit closer. And once again, stay relaxed and tune your attention back to your breathing. Your feet can be touching or they can be a little further apart, maybe hip width apart or wider. We'll come into more of a straddle later as we go through some different variations. And your arms typically are angled out from your side just a little bit. Otherwise, our fingers will probably hit the wall with our arms being longer than our hips. So go ahead and angle them out to your side a little bit. But if you prefer, feel free to extend the arms out from the shoulders or even bring your arms overhead. So again, just as we're here for several moments and breaths, just play around with that a little bit. Or maybe today as you join me, you'll decide on one position for those arms, just so you're not fiddling and moving around as much. Maybe next time you'll try a different posture for those arms and see what works. So we're doing this for our whole time today, but this can also be something that you do maybe at the end of your routine yoga practice during relaxation. So some people like to come into this position at the end and then just allow 5 or 10 minutes for the benefits of this position to happen. Tune into how your body feels. Once again, maybe that gentle hamstring stretch here. And as I mentioned, it's really good, especially for the lower part of your core, because hopefully you can feel your back nice and flat to the floor. So that natural curve in our spine is taken out with our leg position here, just to provide a little bit more of a gentle posture for that lower back. Check in with your feet and toes. Do they feel tingly at all? Maybe a little bit cooler since there's more blood that's leaving that area than pooling in that area. Feel your belly go up and down. So this is a really relaxing, restorative practice today. And from here, let's take 2 more breaths. And we'll go ahead and change the position of our legs. As I mentioned, your feet could be close together or hip width apart, give or take. And then I said we would come into a straddle position. So bring your legs as wide as you are comfortable, easing them out as you can see me doing one leg at a time here. And then you can flex your ankles, try to bring those calves to the wall. And what you should notice now more is a stretch in your inner thighs and hip flexors. So as you're laying here for several breaths, you might want to continue to bring your feet further apart because these exhales are helping you to relax, helping those tight muscles to get used to this posture and not maybe feel as tight as you're feeling now starting out. So as those muscles loosen and relax and you feel less heat and intensity to that inner thigh hip flexor area, consider just inching those heels a little further apart. Never to that point of pain ever in yoga. Just feel the stretch. Keep flexing those ankles if you reposition your legs to feel the back of your calves against the wall. Bring your attention and awareness to the breath. Feel that belly going up and down. For me, bringing my legs further apart makes it feel like there's more room in my belly to go up and down as well. Let's take a couple more deep breaths in right here, keeping it nice and slow. And with your next inhale, bend those knees, drawing those heels down the wall a little bit, and then go ahead and bring those legs back together up top, and then do a little shakeout here. Just alternate those knees to the wall. And what I want to do next is have you pick one of those two positions, whether it's the feet closer together or that straddle we were just in, and we'll hold that leg position while we now switch our focus to stretching the upper body. So I don't just want this to be about the benefits of reversing that blood flow and getting the benefits of increased blood flow to the upper body and the stretches for the lower body, but I also want us to be able to stretch and move that upper body too, nice and gentle. So again, wherever you want those legs, closer together or further apart. And then let's just bring one arm over our chest, pushing down just above the elbow. Relaxing your wrist and hands and fingers. Keeping your shoulder blades on the floor or the mat or towel, whatever you're using. Now with your next inhale, stretch and reach those hands above your shoulders. Exhale, other arm across. Once again, focusing on the shoulder stretch, keeping shoulder blades down, relaxing your hand, wrist, and fingers. Feeling the belly rise up and down. I also notice, for me, my belly breathing feels a little more effortless. So it feels easier to do this in this position versus when I'm sitting or standing. Now with your next inhale, stretch and reach those arms straight out again. Exhale, elbows in by your side and circle those wrists. Feel free to change your leg position at any time. Other direction with those wrist circles. And with your next exhale, let's just go ahead and release those arms by your side and then look to your right and left sides, bringing your chin over your shoulder. Just nice and slow, nice and gentle. Welcoming any cracks or pops, one more each way. Good. Then wherever your legs are at, go ahead and bring them back up to this legs together position if they were not. You can shake them out a little bit. Start, if they are wide, bending those knees first and then bringing legs together. Good. So from here, we're going to come into a little tree pose. So just slide one foot down the wall, bottom of that foot facing your leg. You're welcome to grab onto that ankle or knee and help pull your leg down a little bit more. And then just feel the outer hip stretch. If you're not feeling much, go ahead and just gently push that knee toward the wall. And focus on where you feel it. Do you feel it back in the front of that hip? Similar to where we felt it with our legs straddled. Or do you feel it in the outside of that hip? Or both? And you can press above that knee, extending the arm for more of a stretch. As I push now, I feel it more inner thigh and hip flexor, but just that lowering down of my foot definitely recruits those outer hip muscles, the gluteus medius, and stretches those. With your next inhale, we're going to go ahead and grab the knee and ankle of that leg, and we're going to now place that ankle above your knee and even across your body. So now we will feel more of a stretch in that outer hip from where we were to now we're more stretching those muscles a little bit more. So you can cross that ankle over, again, either just above the knee if that feels like more of a stretch for you, or across toward your hip. You can use your hand to help push that foot down. And then just stay here with that ankle crossed over for 2 more breaths. You can even pull your knee in toward your shoulder. And then with your next inhale, let's bring this ankle above your knee if you had it closer to your hip. I'm going to slide that heel down and then just come into a stretch here. So it's okay if your lower part of your core lifts off the floor, but do try to keep it toward the floor, not coming up too high, or we'll lose that stretch. So just as your foot lowers, it's going to make things a little bit more tight. So you can lift up a little bit or just inch those toes back up the wall so you can rest mostly down. But just that knee bend should help to give a deeper stretch for the outer hip. So once here, if your leg will stay, you can relax those arms down. Otherwise, you can have a little upper body help by holding the leg where it's at. And just try to keep everything facing up toward the ceiling. And we'll hold this for 2 more breaths. It's normal to feel some intensity in the lower part of the core as we're crossed over here. So that's just welcome that as long as it's not painful or uncomfortable. With your next inhale, gently take this ankle off from above that knee. Extend both legs nice and slow, releasing that stretch. You can shake them out again, bouncing those knees off the wall one at a time. And we'll do the same stretches with the other side. So with your next exhale, slide the bottom of that foot next to your other leg, and you're welcome to pull it down once again. Holding the outside of that foot pressed against the wall or gently pushing at or above the knee for a little bit of a deeper stretch. Once again, I feel on this side, inner thigh and hip flexor, getting that stretch and a gentle stretch for my outer hip just because of the bent leg position here. And make sure it's not hurting the outside of your foot or ankle. I do feel pressure there, but it's not painful. It's just the wall pushing back into my foot. And I know it's a little challenging to drink water on our back, but if you do have a water bottle with a lid or a nice little spout, and you can lift your head, just make sure you are staying hydrated, or make sure you do get some water after class, after the video. All right, next inhale, we're gonna go ahead and lift that ankle and knee, and then just cross over your body, whether it's ankle above the knee with the leg remaining straight for now at the wall, or if you wanna pull it over your body, you can do that. Feeling now hopefully a stretch in your outer hip. You can pull the knee in toward your shoulder. And stay here for 2 more breaths. Next inhale, ankle crosses above that knee if it was crossed over by your hip, and the leg on the wall starts to bend. And again, we want to keep our hips at least toward the floor, not coming up too much so we don't lose that outer hip stretch. And then again, notice just a more intense feeling of activity going on in that lower core region. And you're welcome just to play with where that foot is best serving you to get that outer hip stretch. So if you need to inch it back up the wall, that's fine, or just bend that knee a little bit more, that's fine. Like I said with our straddle stretch, the more we're holding a position, the more those muscles do loosen as we get used to staying here. Taking one more inhale, exhaling. Now with your next inhale, gently release that leg from the crossed over position. Slowly extend both legs back up the wall and shake them out. So with your next inhale, let's go ahead and bring the bottom of our feet together and slide the outside of the feet down the wall so we can come into butterfly or bound angle pose. Go ahead and keep pulling those feet down, and you can either notice enough of a stretch here without having your hands help, or you can gently push those knees toward the wall. And make sure, again, you don't feel pain in the outside of your feet. You can come up a little higher if that is a more comfortable position for the outside of your feet versus lower. And then just hold where you feel that stretch for both hip flexors, both inner thighs. going to stay here for 2 more slow breaths in and out. And then with your next inhale, releasing that stretch. This time, let's exhale those legs back up the wall slowly. And then just wiggle your fingers or open and close your hands, since they were helping us there potentially with some of those last few positions. Good. And then go ahead and just relax those arms down by your side. So with your next inhale, we're going to bend those knees, bring the bottom of your feet to the wall, and we're going to do a few bridges. So with your inhale, you want to push into the wall and lift up your hips and then lower back down. You want to make sure you're staying on your shoulder blades and not coming up on your neck. And then you can tell if you brought your feet too close and your bridge wasn't, you couldn't come up to a very high bridge, or if you want to keep your feet a little bit higher so you can come up potentially a little bit higher. So try bringing your feet up a little bit higher than where they were. And then just come in and out of bridge. As you inhale, lift the hips up. As you exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhaling down. Next time you come up into your bridge, wherever you're comfortable, I want you to take those hands and feel your back, especially along your spine. Feel those muscles engaged. So just showing how much of your lower part of your core on the back side is helping to hold this position. And then now feel for your quads. You might feel some tension there in your hips. So really good little strength pose here. And then as you exhale, come down. But Pam, I thought you said that this is a pretty relaxing practice. It is, but it's also just nice to see what we can do from the wall and just do a few of those. So with your next exhale, go ahead and cross one ankle over the other. Lower those feet toward the floor. Take an inhale and then exhale, reaching those hands toward your feet, and try to just hold onto your feet as you lay back down. And then maybe if you can, pull those feet down toward your hips and then bring the outside of your lower legs to the wall. Maybe the outside of your feet again. Just whatever is able to rest back against the wall. So watch that you don't have a lot of pressure from your shin on your ankle. And maybe if you do feel that connection, your shin and your ankle, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you feel some good pressure into some sore lower calf or soleus muscles. And let's just take 2 more inhales and exhales here. Now with your next inhale, start to lift those knees up toward each other. Extend those legs up just high enough to uncross and cross the other ankle over. And then as you exhale, lower down once again. Take an inhale here. Exhale, reach toward those feet or ankles. Go ahead and try to pull them down. Placing again, maybe the lower part of that leg that's in front against the wall. Gently releasing your feet to the wall. Releasing your feet and ankles, laying back down. Noticing once again that position of your shin pushing into your calf or soleus muscle that's right above your heel, around your Achilles tendon. Just pushing against the wall for 2 more inhales and exhales. And then with your next inhale, bring those knees toward each other once again and extend those legs up the wall. Just enough so that you can uncross that ankle. And then let's grab one leg and slowly circle the ankle a few times each direction. And let's go the other way. If you haven't switched already. your exhale, bring that foot back to the wall, and let's go ahead and grab the other leg to circle that ankle a few times each direction. And if you haven't switched, go ahead and switch at this time. And then go ahead and exhale, placing that foot back against the wall. So with some of our different positions, if you have found yourself that you have moved away from the wall, you can scooch back in toward the wall at this time. And then we're just going to grab the outside of one foot. Try to have your hips against the wall ideally. And then just relax the other arm down. So I want you to pull down on the bottom of this foot, feeling more of a gentle stretch in that hamstring. And the other leg can remain bent, or you can extend that leg. Start to pull this leg out to the side. Feeling more of that intensity once again in the lower part of the core. And then switch and rotate your hand to the inside of that foot by the big toe, the inside of the ball of that foot, pushing down. Ankles flexed, bottom of the foot facing the ceiling. And then from here, we'll work to extend that leg, but decide before you do that if you are more comfortable holding back once again on the outside of that foot, or if you do want to stay on the inside. And then just try to extend that foot, just pushing, or that leg, pushing your knee down. Straighten the leg. One more inhale and exhale. And then just slowly releasing on the end of that exhale. And you can bring that foot to the wall, bent or straight. And then let's go ahead and grab the outside of your other foot. Once again, ankles flexed, bottom of my foot facing the ceiling. And then just work to bring this leg out to the side more and more. So feeling the lower part of the core, where the ground hits your body. Gentle hamstring stretch. There's just a little bit of an activation here, even with the knee bent. And with your next inhale, start to bring this hand around to the inside of that foot and by your big toe. And once again, just pushing down. With your next inhale, we'll start to extend that leg. So decide once again if you want to rotate your hand back around to the outside of that foot, or just start to push that knee down, straightening the leg from where you're holding your foot now. Exhaling, relaxing. Taking one more inhale, exhaling, bending that knee at the end of the exhale, bringing that leg in once again. So extending that leg slowly back up the wall, and then you can shake those legs out once again. And we're going to take those arms now, and we're going to bend the wrists so we can bring our fingertips in by our hips. And then I just want you to inhale, using those arms to lift all the way up, hands overhead, fingers will touch over your head, and then exhale. So I'm just hovering my arms over the floor, inhaling, circling up, exhaling down. And let's do two more just like that, just noticing your upper back muscles, especially around your shoulder blades, and how your shoulder blades reposition with the arm movement. One more. And then with your next inhale, bring your arms out to the side and decide on checking in with those legs. Are you okay with them on the wall, bent or straight with feet together? Or do you want to come back to a straddle as we do 4 more rounds of breathing, moving our arms? So with your next inhale, bring the hands up above your chest, touching your fingertips. Exhale down. Again, legs in the position of your choice. Inhale, fingertips together. Exhale, lower down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. As you inhale, go ahead and bring those hands together, elbows bent, and then grab the fingertips of one hand, pulling down while your palm faces the ceiling. With your next inhale, switch those hands around, gently pulling down. But you might have noticed some work in that forearm today. Holding our feet. So just a nice stretch for that area. And then as you exhale, releasing those arms back down to the floor in a comfortable position. And then deciding on where you want to keep those legs for a few more breaths.